Every myth has a beginning, and every legend has a burden. For Superman, that burden is being more than human, yet never fully God. Born as Kal-El of Krypton, his story did not begin with thunder or lightning, but with tragedy. A dying world, a desperate father and mother, sending their child across the stars. A rocket carrying the last hope of a civilization. When that child landed on Earth, he was raised not as a god, but as a boy. The name given to him was Clark Kent. And though he grew up on a Kansas farm, there was nothing ordinary about him. As the years passed, Clark discovered his gifts. Strength that could move mountains. Eyes that could burn with fire. Ears that could hear the cries of the world. The yellow sun made him more than mortal, it made him something else. But here lies the mystery. Though humans called him an alien, though the world saw him as something divine, Superman never called himself a god. To him, being Kryptonian did not mean he was above humanity. It meant he had the power to protect it. It meant he had a responsibility. And so, Superman became the symbol of hope. A man who could fly faster than the wind, but walked slowly beside mortals. A hero who could destroy armies, but chose to inspire instead. The world saw him as invincible. But inside, Clark struggled with one question that never left him. Am I a savior, or an intruder in a world not mine? Because every act of heroism reminded him of his distance. Every victory whispered the same truth. Humans would never truly be his people. He was too strong, too different, too godlike. And this is where the shadow of Olympus enters. For while Clark Kent carried the burden of being seen as a god, there already existed beings who truly were gods. Ancient, eternal, and proud. And at the peak of their throne sat Zeus, father of Olympus, ruler of lightning, king of gods. To Zeus, Superman was not a myth. He was a threat, a stranger from another world, with power rivaling the children of Olympus. A being who inspired men to worship him in ways once reserved only for gods. Imagine the tension. A man who refuses to call himself divine. A god who refuses to share his throne. But before the clash of thunder and sun begins, we must understand Superman's greatest trial. It is not a villain like Lex Luthor or a monster like Doomsday. It is the trial of identity. For every moment he saves lives, he hears the whispers. Is he man? Or is he God? And if he is God, should he rule or should he bow to the ones who already claim the title? Superman's burden is not his strength. It is his restraint, the knowledge that with one wrong choice, he could become exactly what mortals fear, a tyrant in the skies. And this is why his encounter with Zeus matters. Because for the first time, Superman is not facing an enemy of Earth. He is facing the Father of gods himself, a being who demands reverence, obedience, and worship. And Superman does not kneel. So before the thunder crashes, remember this. The boy from Krypton carries the hope of men. The king of Olympus carries the pride of gods. And when hope and pride collide, the storm will shake both heaven and earth. Long before Krypton ever existed, before Kal-El was sent to Earth, there were gods. And at the peak of their power, one name ruled above them all. Zeus, the Stormbringer, the father of Olympus, the king who bent both heaven and earth to his will. From the heights of Mount Olympus, Zeus watched the rise and fall of empires. He was not just a god of thunder, he was the law itself. The one who divided power among gods, who punished mortals for their defiance, and who made certain that none dared to rival Olympus. But Zeus was never a god of mercy. He was a god of dominance. When mortals prayed, it was not out of love. It was out of fear. Lightning was his voice. Storms were his wrath. And kings themselves bowed to his throne, knowing that Zeus's will was eternal. Yet Olympus was not without weakness. Zeus's reign was marked by pride, jealousy, and paranoia. Even among his fellow gods, he trusted no one. He punished rebellion with chains. He silenced doubt with fire. And though stories of Zeus often spoke of his power, they rarely told of his greatest fear, the fear of being replaced. For centuries, Zeus held his throne unchallenged. Mortals lived under his storms, gods lived under his command. But then, across the vastness of time, something new appeared. A being not born of Olympus, not shaped by divine law but a stranger from the stars. A man who could move mountains, part oceans, and glow with the power of the sun. Superman. When Zeus beheld him, the fear that had haunted Olympus stirred once again, because in Kal-El, Zeus saw a reflection of himself. Strength beyond measure. A protector who inspired mortals not with fear, but with hope. And for the first time in ages, mortals looked to the sky, and their prayers were not for Zeus. They were for Superman. This Zeus could not allow. For the king of Olympus believed there was only room for one god of the sky. But let us not mistake Zeus for an ordinary rival. His power is not limited to thunderbolts. He commands storms that can swallow continents. His immortality has survived wars of titans and monsters. And his throne is not only of Olympus, it is of tradition, of authority, of the divine order itself. To challenge Zeus is not just to fight a god. It is to defy centuries of myth, to shatter the hierarchy that ruled both heaven and earth. And yet, Zeus's pride blinds him. He sees Kal-El not as the son of Krypton who chooses mercy, but as a usurper, a challenger to his throne. A rival who dares to inspire where only Zeus should command. So the storm gathers. Zeus calls upon the gods, reminding them of their loyalty. He declares that no alien, no outsider, no mortal-born hero shall ever rise above Olympus. And with every word, the sky darkens, as if thunder itself agrees. But here is the truth. While Zeus sees a threat, the world sees hope. While Zeus demands worship, Superman earns trust. And that difference shakes the very foundation of Olympus. Because gods rule through fear, but Superman he saves through love. The stage is now set for the greatest clash of all. Not between man and God, but between two gods of the sky, one born of ancient myth, the other of a dying world. One who demands obedience and one who offers freedom. The storm is ready. The sun is rising. And when thunder meets sunlight, the world will never be the same. The sky splits open. Lightning tears across the heavens, and beneath it stands Zeus, his eyes burning with stormfire. Across from him hovers Superman, the last son of Krypton, his cape flowing like a banner of defiance. This is no battle of mortals. This is no war of armies. It is God against God. Father of Olympus versus the son of another world. The first strike belongs to Zeus. He summons a thunderbolt, forged in the heart of storms, and hurls it with rage. The heavens roar. The ground shatters. But Superman does not fall. He rises through the fire, eyes glowing red, answering thunder with the heat of suns. Their clash is chaos. Mountains crumble. Oceans churn. Mortals look up, powerless, as their sky becomes a war between myth and alien fire. Every strike is not just power, it is philosophy. Zeus demands obedience. Superman answers with defiance. Zeus calls out, his voice like rolling thunder, "Mortal born! You dare steal worship from gods." But Superman's reply is calm, his voice cutting through storms. "I never asked to be worshipped. I only came to protect." And that is the truth that enrages Zeus most of all. For all his power, for all his lightning, Zeus has never inspired love, only fear. Yet this alien, this outsider, wins the hearts of mortals without asking. It is not strength that threatens Zeus. It is hope. The battle rages on. Zeus summons storms that blot out the sun. Superman answers by tearing through clouds, bringing the light back. Zeus hurls chains of Olympus, forged to bind titans. Superman shatters them with fists fueled by the will of humanity itself. But slowly, the tide turns. Because Zeus fights for his throne. Superman fights for the people. One seeks to protect his pride. The other seeks to protect the innocent. And in that difference lies victory. With one final strike, Zeus channels the fury of Olympus, lightning burning brighter than ever before. He declares himself eternal. But Superman does not falter. He steps through the storm, his body scorched, his spirit unbroken. And with eyes blazing, he speaks the words that end the battle. Power does not make you a god. It only gives you a choice. Then, with one final blow, Superman drives Zeus to the ground. The storm falls silent. The world holds its breath. But Superman does not kill. He does not claim Olympus. Instead, he stands over the fallen king and simply turns away. Because his victory is not in defeating Zeus, it is in proving that mercy is stronger than pride. And so, the son of Krypton leaves the father of gods with a truth even thunder cannot silence. That the age of fear is ending. That a new kind of god walks the earth, a god who chooses to be human. The question remains, who truly won? Zeus, unyielding, still seated in myth? Or Superman, who showed that hope can rise higher than Olympus itself? Perhaps the answer lies not in gods or aliens, but in us. For every time we look up to the sky, every time we believe in heroes, we keep Superman's truth alive. That gods may rule, but it is hope that saves. And when the next storm gathers, when thunder roars again, the legend will continue. Because the clash of Krypton and Olympus is not just a battle. It is a reminder that power tests us, but compassion defines us. If you want more battles where myths collide with modern legends, where gods meet heroes, make sure to subscribe, because the next story is already waiting in the skies.